Right, well this video is to show you how you can use ccTweaked or Computercraft to turn a fairly ordinary kelp farm like this into one that is self-fueling and doesn't need to have any crafting done by the player. It's all automated. Now of course we're waiting for Minecraft to produce an auto crafter, but this you can do with the existing version from I think about 1.12 onwards using the ccTweaked mod. So it's Java only. This is part of an overall system that uses all these storage chests and a series of smelters, all computer controlled using an interface which I'll show you here. So we've got, for example, the crafting items, smelting items. Then you can retrieve any item that's in storage and so on. So I'll be doing this in greater detail once it is fully working, but this is just an introductory one into the smelting system for kelp. So this is the hopper that comes from the kelp farm, so I won't go into the kelp farm itself. It's just one I found on the internet, nothing abnormal there. Normally what happens is it goes into a smoker, and then you have to have a separate storage system with fuel that would feed into the side of the smelter, and then you can collect the smelted blocks or smelted kelp at the bottom like this, but then you're limited to having to handcraft them. Now this we're using a ccTweaked turtle which does the job for us. So I'll just go through the process. So the kelp comes down into the hopper from the farm above. At the moment there's none in it. It drops into the top of the smelter. As you can see, there's 3 in here. The fuel that was in there has kind of been absorbed, but there is obviously still fuel active. Once it's smelted, it comes out down here via this hopper. The chest above here, the barrel above here, is a backup fuel supply which has got currently 3 dried kelp blocks in it, which can be used if this one needs to be topped up. The crafter itself, we're waiting for 7 seconds. I'll show you what happens at the end of it. It'll suck from the chest below the dried kelp here, and if there's enough to make it into a block, it then checks to see whether the supply here is at 3, and then it feeds the kelp block into the smoker, ready for the next batch of kelp that falls in from the farm. As long as there is fuel in here, and there are 3 in here, it will then rotate 180 degrees, deposit the rest in this chest, which is then fed down through a hopper into this chest. So this has been running for some time, and you can see they get quite a lot of dried kelp here. So this is self-perpetuating. Once it starts, it just keeps going and refuels the smelter automatically. The section from this chest onwards is for additional storage. Obviously you can put quite a lot in here, and the interesting thing is that a modem here connected to the chest is connected via this network cable to the computer storage system, and that allows me to take fuel that we've collected here and put it into the smelters. Just get up on here. Here, so we've got a combination of smokers, blast furnaces and furnaces, which are all computer controlled. So the computer here will supply fuel to these from the one downstairs. This crafter here is the one that is also under computer control, and that will take input from here, from the storage chests, craft things and then dump them in the chest below. So I'll go into that in more detail when I have got this program working. It's kind of at alpha stage at the moment, so things are working, but there's probably things that are going to go wrong. So this allows you to craft things. For example, if you wanted to create some oak fence, it tells you what's in stock, what's needed, and so on. But as I say, I won't go into great detail with this at the moment because I haven't yet got all the code online. Well, this is the code on pastebin, so I'll put the link in the description below. And here's the lure in, so you can see it a bit more clearly. So I'll just briefly go through how it works. It's fairly well commented, so it should be fairly straightforward. So everything's in function, so obviously it starts from main at the bottom here. The main function starts with orientate. What that does is to make sure that if the turtle starts up, either when you've just come back into the chunk or when you first put the game up and it's not facing the smelter, it can rotate around and get into the correct place before it goes any further. Then we've got get storage. What that one does is to check where the storage is, because although I've got it, as you saw, on the left and right of the turtle, you could put it to one side, it doesn't really matter. But so this will discover where the storage chest is, and also checks whether you've got a backup chest above for storing your fuel. So these kind of run when you first start it up. After that it runs this, which is an infinite loop, and what this does is to have a timer which counts down here, and once it's run for 1 minute it will check to see whether there is any kelp or dried kelp below. If there is, it will then craft it using a function to craft the kelp. So that selects the dried kelp, puts it into the right slots, crafts it and returns it. Once you've crafted it, you then check whether we need to add any fuel to the smelter by checking whether it's lit or not, data state lit. And if it's not lit, then we'd need fuel, but sometimes it could be not lit simply because there's nothing been smelted for a while and the flame's kind of gone out, but there is still fuel in there. So in order to prevent accidentally dropping too much fuel in, actually draw the fuel out and put it back again, and then we know whether or not we still need to add fuel. So that just checks that. Next thing to do is to check whether the backup storage above needs to have any more added to it. So we want to have just 3 blocks in there. Any less than that, it will top it up. If it's more than that, it doesn't really matter. So that's how that works, but it's very well commented. But if anybody needs any explanation or finds any errors, just leave something in the comments below and I'll get back to you. Okay, so enjoy.